Good morning, students. Welcome back to Atmiya Green School. I'm Afrin Sayed, your English teacher, and today, students, will start with section 2 from your book, The New Pathways, the Diary of a Space Traveler. I repeat, the Diary of a Space Traveler. So, students, look, the diary itself is a very interesting because that is something where you record everything. There are personal diaries. There are people who have habit of writing the diaries in which they mention every happening of events in their life. So here we have the diary of a space traveler. So diary itself is a very interesting thing, and that of a space traveler makes it more interesting because this diary belongs to a space traveler. The diary of space traveler is written by Satyajit Ray. Satyajit Ray, he was a very famous director, he was a scriptwriter, and he was a very talented person. So here, as you can see on the screen, we'll first go through the chapter, then we'll have a summary of the chapter. Okay, I'll start reading for you. It was from Tarak Chatterjee that I got Professor Trilokeshwar Shonku's diary. So from where did the narrator got the Professor Trilokeshwar Shonku's? So whose diary is it? It is Professor Trilokeshwar Shonku's diary. So who is the space traveler? Of course Shonku. Okay. And here our narrator is Tarak Chatterjee. At once something struck me as odd. The color of the ink had been green the first time when I would look at it. So the diary had a color which was green in color. Now it was red. How could it be that? Okay, I put the diary in my pocket. Obviously, I made a mistake. My heart skipped a beat when I opened the diary at home. The ink was now blue, and before my very eyes, the ink turned to yellow. So, first of all, the diary was green in color when he saw it for the first time. Then it became red in color, and after he put the diary inside his pocket, it turned blue in color. And before his eyes my very, the ink turned to yellow. The diary fell from the trembling hands. My dog Bolu pounced upon it as soon as it hit in the floor. But amazingly, his teeth could do no damage to the notebook. So as soon as the diary fell upon the ground, his uh, dog started his dog started pouncing upon it, but it didn't hit the floor. But amazingly, his teeth could do no damage to the notebook. So now there was no damage did by the dog Bolu. So our Professor Shonko has a pet dog whose name is Bolu. I tried pulling a page out and realized that the paper was impossible to tear. It was like elastic. So what I did, I tried to pull the page, but the page was not tearable. It was impossible to tear. It was like an elastic. I lit my stove and dropped the diary into the naked flames. Nothing happened. Even the diary was not burned in the naked flames. He lit up the stove and he put the diary inside the fire. But even the flames of the fires did not burn it out. Nothing happened, only the color of the ink changed. So there was nothing, like it was not burned, it was not destroyed, but the only thing which happened was the color of the ink changed. That same night I read the diary. This is what I read. It is for you to judge whether it is true or false, possible or impossible. So here it is the diary of the Professor Trilokeshwar Shogu, which is read by Tarak Chatterjee, and who says that the diary has a very unique characteristics of the changing color, and the diary is not clearable. Even if you put the diary inside the flames of the fire, it is not going to be destroyed. So here there was a journal of the entries in the diary, and might be it has some strange stories because he says that it is on us to believe or not on those happening of the events. So, Professor Shonku's diary, 2nd January. My anxieties means worry. Regarding the rocket are slowly ebbing. Ebbing means decreasing gradually, getting reduced gradually. Gradually means slowly. The closer I get to my date of departure, the more enthusiastic means excited and full of energy I feel. So his now here my wins. It is referred to Professor Shonku. Professor Shonku says that with the with the with the time getting closer, he's even getting more excited and he is not at all nervous. Now I'm beginning to think that my first attempt had failed only because of Prahlad. Prahlad. Okay. He had moved the arms of the clock in a complex venture that means usually involving some risk. Like this, every second matters. Prahlad's mistake delayed me by nearly 3.5 hours. Now, no wonder that the rocket rose and fell again with a loud thud. So what happens? That their first attempt is failed, and he says that the first attempt has been failed because of his friend Prahlad, uh, as he was taking more risk, and nothing much happened. Just the rocket went up and then fell again with a loud thud. It was about 2nd January. Now, 5th January. I'm tired of Prahlad's action. He's been with me for the 27 years, so he is his friend who has been with him for 27 years. Yet it seems his brain does not function at all. Prahlad is a fool, but it may be well useful to have him with me. Sometimes slow and foolish people can show more courage than the clever one, as it takes them longer to reason to feel scared. So it is as what is given about Prahlad. Prahlad is with him with Professor Shankar for last 27 years, but he seems to be foolish. Okay, but yes, he can be more useful as the clever ones may think for everything twice, but he is never scared of doing things. There is no doubt that Prahlad is very brave. He is foolish, but he is very brave. So I think I will take Prahlad with me. Weight should not be a problem. Prahlad's weight is 62 kgs. My weight is 58 kgs. So Shonko's weight is 58. Prahlad is 62. And my robot Bidokeshwar is 90 kgs. And all other materials. So he even have robot whose name is Bidushekar, whose weight is 90 kg, and all other material weighs another 60 kg. My rocket can take anything up to 500 kg. So rocket has capability of 500 kg, and so he is taking all everything with him. He himself, Prahlad, as well as his Robert Bidukeshwar, Bidushekar, okay, and other materials whose weights are 60 kgs. Now, 8th January. I have decided to take my cat Newton with me. So, the cat Newton. He has been mewing pathetically. Perhaps he knows that the time of my departure is now quite close. So what happens that his cat, whose name is Newton, was mewing pathetically, and his of course he says that my time of the departure is very slow and very close to him. So as soon as the time will come nearer, he is getting excited for it. And what I decided, I decided to take the cat along with him. So the story started from the 2nd January. Then on 5th January, he is talking about his mm, uh, partner, his friend Prahlad. Then on 8th January, he decided to take his cat Newton along with him. Now there comes 21st of January. We left Earth 7 days ago. So now it is 21st January and they have already left the Earth 7 days ago. That is 1 week. Our food supply should last us 5 years. They got that much of food that they can last easily for the 5 years. Newton does not have to be fed more than once a week. So his cat Newton is only having a food once a week. One fish meal is good enough for him to last 7 days. So one fish pill for the 7 days. For Prahlad and myself, I have taken the special pill. One tiny pill keeps hunger and thirsty at bay for 24 hours. I have taken 2 lakh pills with me. Okay, so he took 2 lakh pills with him, and the pills can keep a person away from hunger and thirst for 24 hours. Okay. Newton was restless during the first few days, possibly because so he even bought his dog Newton, who was restless for first few days because he wasn't used to be confined in the space. Since yesterday, however, he has been sitting quietly on my desk, staring out of the window. The sky looks totally black, but there are endless bright, luminous stars and planets. So there are very bright planets and stars around. So he's enjoying the view. So now on 28th January, I'm teaching Vidhu Shekhar to speak. Vidhu Shekhar is his robot. Today I asked Vidhu Shekhar, how are you feeling? He clapped his hand and said, go, go. Undoubtedly, he was trying to say, good, good. Today the planet Mars is looking as big as a grapefruit. So they have reached till the planet Mars, and planet Mars is as big as Griffin. According to my calculation, we will get there in another month. So from the till the next month, they'll reach to the planet Mars. I have put to one side all that shall have to take with us. My camera, binoculars, weapons, first aid box, each of things will have to be carried. There is no doubt of mine there is life on Mars. So he says that there is no doubt that there is a life on Mars, and he has taken everything which has been needed, whether it is a binocular or a mask or everything. Though I have no idea whether that life is large or small, peaceful or violent. He don't have any idea that whether the life of the people over there is life a large or small, peaceful or violent. But surely, whatever creatures there are, they won't look anything like men. So he says that I don't know about the life, but I'm sure that the creatures of the Mars would not be like a man. Okay. So now there are 5 hours to landing. The blue patches on the planet that I had initially thought were the water appear to be something different. Besides their slim red thread-like structure, I cannot imagine what they are. So now they have finally reached to the planet Mars, and he says that there were a blue patches on the there were some blue patches on the uh, ground, which seems to be like a water, but when they got nearer they found that it's not a water, and there were slim red color thread-like structure which cannot be imagined that what they are. We landed on Mars 2 hours ago, and I'm writing my diary. So what happened? They have already landed on the Mars 2 hours ago, and the Professor Shonku is writing the diary, sitting on the round, uh, soft yellow rocky mount. Rocky mount. Everything here, the trees, the ground, the stones and rocks is kind, soft, and feels like a rubber. So everything here is very kind, soft, and it's like a rubber. Okay, and before 2 hours they have reached there, and Professor Shonku is writing his diary. A little distance away, a red river is flowing by. It took me a while to realize that it was a river, as its water looked like a clear jelly. So after a while he realized that it was a water because it looks like a clear jelly. A bit like guava jelly. So what was it looking like? It was looking like a jelly made up of guava. Perhaps all rivers here are red. It is this river that appeared as a red thread from a space. So all river appears to be red from the space. What had struck me as water, it turned out, were grass and trees and plants. All of it is blue. So everything like grass, trees, and plants were blue in color instead of green. What is green is the sky. So sky is green in color. Students, water is red in color. Grass, trees, and plants are blue in color instead of green, and sky is green in color. Everything is the opposite what we see on the earth. So what we see on the earth, we see plants and everything to be green in color. But here, plants and everything are blue in color. And we see sky as a blue color, and on Mars, the sky is green in color. And the rivers are red in color rather than blue. I haven't yet seen a living creature. Did I make a mistake in my assumption? So he says that I have thought that there might be some living creature. He thinks that whether he had made any mistakes in making the assumption, there were no noise at all, except the slight gurgling of the river. There were no noise. Okay, like if there might have some life, it should make some noise, but there were no noise. Just there was a sound of river. The atmosphere is decidedly airy. Airy means strange and mysterious. Okay, airy means strange and mysterious. Why is everything so quiet? So he is asking that why is everything so quiet? It does not feel cold. If anything, it is quite warm. So the atmosphere was quite warm. But there is occasional gust of wind that is very cold indeed. But sometimes the winds come that is very cold. It lasts for only a few seconds, but seems to freeze the very marrow in my bones. That wind don't even last for a minute. It just lasts for a few seconds, but it reaches to the bone marrow. Perhaps there is something in the distance, which signifies that there are some mountains nearby. At first, I was afraid to taste the water in the river. So now our professor is afraid to taste the water inside the river. Then, when I saw Newton drinking it, I felt bold enough to cup up my hand and drink mouthful of water myself. It tasted like it tasted like ambrosia. Ambrosia is the food of gods in a Greek. Okay, so food of god in a Greek is known as ambrosia. One sip was enough to wipe out every sign of both physical and mental fatigue. Fatigue means tiredness. So he says that when, first of all, he was very afraid of taking the sip from the water. But gradually, when first Newton took the sip, he was very strong. He was now brave, and he decided to have a water. Now, the water was that much energetic that the one sip can remove all the physical and mental tiredness. It is only बिदु शेखर who is still causing me concern. अब किसी चीज की फिक्र है तो वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ बिदु शेखर की है. God knows what's wrong with him. I switched him on as soon as we landed, but he did not move. What's the matter? Don't you want to go out? I asked him. So what happens that as soon as they landed, he switched him on as it is a robot. But he was not making any movement. He asked that, do you want to go out? I asked him. He shook his head. Why? What's wrong? This time, Vidushekhar raised his arms over his head and uttered just one word. His voice sounded frightened. Dinga, he said. So what happens? That he raised his arm over head and he says just one word, that is danger. So students guess, what does he want to say? Yes, he wants to say danger. So I have no problem in following his words. So I could guess instantly that what he meant to say was danger. Of course, it was a robot which was made by himself. So of course he can easily understand the words. He says, uh, just like a mother do when we were small, we were not able to pronounce things properly, but she get what we want to say. She understand what we are saying. Just like that, he gave birth to Vidushekhar, and he knows that what does his words seems to be. So he found out that he means to be danger. What danger? What are you afraid of? I went on. Vidushekar's tone remained grave as he answered. Danger, terrible danger. Danger, terrible danger. He wants to say that there is a danger and that too a very terrible one. He said nothing more, nor did he show any interest in joining us. After that, he said nothing, and he didn't seem to be interested in joining with them. So, in the end, we had to leave him in the rocket. Only Prahlad, Newton, and I sat on the foot Martian soil. So, no one else came. It was just Prahlad, Newton, and our Professor Shonku. We had the most terrifying experience on the Mars. I'm still in complete shock. So, yes, he was right. There was a danger. And he was completely shocked after that danger. As soon as the sun rose, a strong fishy smell hit my nostrils, and I heard strange sound as if a large-sized cricket was chirping loudly, tintry, tintry, tintry. So what happened as soon as the sun rose? It was a fishy smell, and the sound which came to his ears was like thin three, thin three. Okay, I looked around, but at that precise moment, a terrible scream froze my blood. So there was a very, very terrible scream. Then I saw Prahlad. His eyes were bulging, his right arm was wrapped around new, and his right arm was wrapped around Newton, and he was sprinting towards the rocket. So what he saw, that Prahlad was bulging, he was very much scared, and his right arm was wrapped around the Newton, and he was running towards the rocket. So taking to the Newton in his arms, Prahlad was walking towards the rocket. The creature that was chasing him was not a human, nor an animal, nor a fish. So something which was chasing the Prahlad was not a human, not even an animal, and not a fish. Yet it had something in common with all three. It was about 4 feet high. It was 4 feet high. It had legs and feet. It even has legs and feet. But instead of arms, there were huge fins. But it does not have arms, it has fins like fish. Its head was very big, in the center of which was a single large green eye. So there was only one green eye. The mouth was gaping wide, but there were no teeth. His mouth was very wide, but no teeth. Its whole body was covered by fish scales glistening in the sun. So it was a combination of a human, animal, and fish. He had 4 feet high, 4 feet high height, and legs and feet were there. He even had fins and scales on his body. Okay, now the creature could not run very fast. It kept stumbling almost at every step. I wheeled around and saw at a distance thousands of similar creatures making their way. And what he found? He found that there was thousand other more creatures over there, just like him, towards us, swaying on their feet, and everyone was coming towards them. They were all making that horrible chirping noise, and everyone was making that horrible chirping noise, which was hurting their ears. Their bodies shone so brightly in the sun that it was blinding. And those scales on their body, the scales on those aliens' body, we can say, were so brightening that it were actually hurting their eyes. I'll give a short summary again. What happens, students? It is a diary of the Professor Shonko, which Tarak Chitarji got, and the diary has various journals, and from January 2, it has there is a mention of many other things, and it is said that the diary says that they are moving towards the Mars. That means they are going towards the Mars. And in Mars, along with the Professor Shonku, there is Prahlad, there is Newton, and uh, his cat, as well as um, his professor, as well as his robot with Vidushekar. Okay, so all of them went to the Mars. Now over the Mars, you can see that the Mars is a very different place. It is not like a Earth. The river seems to be red in color, the plants are blue in color, the sky is green in color, and everything over here is really different. Now here, everything is fine till now, but he finds out that his Vidushekar is not speaking anything. And when he asks that is there something wrong, he says that yes, something is wrong, and that something is there is a danger over there. So he's trying to ask that what's the danger. And after some time he found that there are some creatures who seems to be like an alien and who have the structure of a human. Animal and fish are running towards them, so he is becoming scary now. And those scales, they were even having the have the scales on their body which are because of the sun, that their eyes are getting blind. So for today's students, I'm just getting half through the chapter, and tomorrow we'll go through the other part of the chapter. I want you to read it once. Okay. I even gave the summary of the chapter till we did, and further I'll teach you tomorrow. Okay. I hope it was useful, and I want you to read it carefully. Thank you so much, students. Have a really good day.